Ethan Cole was 28 years old when he buried his mother. And 3 days later, while packing up her life into cardboard boxes, he found something that made him question everything he thought he knew about his life. A bank receipt, then another, then 12 more. Monthly transfers, same amount, same sender. Daniel Mercer. A man Ruth Cole had told her son was dead. Spokane, Washington, 1998. Ruth Cole was 26 years old, working double shifts at Sacred Heart Medical Center as a floor nurse, raising a 2-year-old boy named Ethan, alone. She never complained, not once. Their apartment on Maple Street was small, the kind of small where the kitchen table touched the couch, where the heater made noise all night but never quite worked, where Ruth would sit after Ethan fell asleep, too tired to eat, too wired to sleep, just staring at the wall. But every morning, without fail, she was up before him. Pancakes on the table, his uniform ironed, his lunch packed. Ethan grew up thinking his father died in a car accident before he turned 3. Ruth told him gently, carefully, the way only a mother can craft a lie that feels like love. He loved you so much, baby. He just didn't get enough time. Ethan believed her. Why wouldn't he? She never cried about Daniel, never kept photos, never said his name with bitterness. To Ethan, his father was just a sad story with a quiet ending. What Ethan didn't know was that in 2001, Daniel Mercer drove back to Spokane. He'd been gone 3 years, destroyed by gambling debt, ashamed of what he'd put Ruth through, convinced she was better off without him. But something pulled him back. Maybe guilt, maybe love, maybe both, because the two feel identical when it's too late. He knocked on the door of that Maple Street apartment. Ruth opened it. She looked at him for a long moment, this man who had broken her. And then she looked down the hallway at 3-year-old Ethan, asleep on the couch with a stuffed bear tucked under his arm. And she stepped outside, closed the door behind her. He thinks you're dead, Daniel. Ruth, and that's how it's going to stay. Daniel stood there, broken all over again, this time by a sentence he deserved. But Ruth wasn't done. You want to do something for him? Then stay gone. And send money, because I am not letting your mistakes touch his life. Daniel nodded, got back in his car. And for the next 25 years, every single month without missing one, a transfer arrived in Ruth's account. She never spent it on herself, not once. It paid for Ethan's school supplies, his college application fees, his first car, a used Honda that she pretended she'd saved up for. Every time Ethan said, "Mom, how did you manage all this?" she just smiled. "You let me worry about that." Back to that Tuesday afternoon, Ethan sitting on his mother's bedroom floor, surrounded by her things, holding 12 bank receipts in his shaking hands. The oldest one, dated March 2001. The most recent, dated just 19 days before Ruth passed away. He sat there for a long time, trying to reconcile the mother he knew, strong, private, self-sufficient Ruth, with this secret she had carried for 25 years. She had taken money from a man she had erased from their story. Not for herself. Never for herself. And she'd protected Ethan so completely, so surgically, that he had grieved a father who was alive, sent flowers to an empty grave, said, "Rest in peace" to a man eating breakfast somewhere. He didn't know whether to cry or scream, or both. He chose both. The last receipt wasn't just a receipt. Tucked behind it, folded once, edges soft with age, was a piece of paper in Ruth's handwriting, an address. 412 Birchwood Lane, Portland, Oregon, and beneath it, 3 words that stopped Ethan cold. In case you're ready. She knew, Ruth knew that someday, maybe after she was gone, Ethan would find this, and she had left him a door. Not forced it open, not explained herself, just left him a door. Ethan folded the paper, put it in his pocket. He finished packing her room in silence. 3 weeks later, a quiet street in Portland, oak trees lining the sidewalk, a modest house, well kept, nothing fancy. Ethan Cole stood at the end of the driveway of 412 Birchwood Lane. He had driven 4 hours. He hadn't called ahead. He didn't know what he was going to say. He just stood there, the paper in his hand, his mother's handwriting facing up. In case you're ready. The front door of the house opened. A man stepped out onto the porch, gray at his temples, older than the ghost Ethan had imagined his whole life. He stopped when he saw the young man at the end of his driveway. Neither of them moved. And that is where we leave Ethan's story today, with thought that not every truth sets you free. Some truths were always meant to be carried by someone else so you could fly. Ruth Cole never told her son the truth, but she made sure, when he was ready, the truth could find him.